It is Wednesday, April the 23rd.
This is The Warning.
Donald Trump is closing in on 100 days as the 47th president of the United States. And it is a disaster unparalleled in the history of the country. A political suicide of the nation's standing, of its moral virtues, of its economic security, of its values, of its ideals, of simple concepts like decency and kindness, all of it set to the torch by Donald Trump and his putrid team of fascists. There is Secretary Little Marco, who, when you think deeply about it, is on a global crime spree against humanity. There are children starving in Africa while Marco Rubio quotes Jesus on his X account while chaining up teenage tourists. Marco Rubio will be held to account for all of this one day. Trust me. Every instance of a Trump official breaking the law must be documented, from the lowest to the highest, for the reckoning that is surely to come. And it will. The American people will remove this cancer from power. There is a great fight underway. There will be no announcements that the bell has tolled and the fight is on, that the crisis has arrived. It will not blare from the front pages of the New York Times. In fact, the New York Times said just yesterday that the Trump regime, in a news story, is actually a well-run machine until Pete Hegseth's meltdown on the White House lawn. The Trump regime is a carnival of malice and incompetence. And from top to bottom, from Susie Wiles to Pete Hegseth to Kristi Noem, it is rotted to the core. And that rottenness is a function of the character of the American people, their indifference, their sloth, and their susceptibility to the evil propaganda that has been jammed down their throat by Rupert Murdoch and his billionaire family. The Murdochs came to America as immigrants, and unlike Mr. Garcia in an El Salvador gulag, they contributed nothing except malice. Rupert Murdoch dipped an arrow in poison, aimed it at liberty's heart, and fired. And now he directs his editorialists at the Wall Street Journal to beg that Donald Trump stops his immolation of the global economy and the ruination of America's standing in the world. But now it is too late. What Donald Trump is burning cannot be saved, but it can be rebuilt. What has been allowed to happen is a travesty. What has been allowed to happen is the fault of a generation of Democratic leaders and politicians who were not tough enough, who were not smart enough, did not have the wisdom, did not have the foresight, did not understand historically what Trump was, and that the wolves were gathering at the door. Their naivete, their delusion, their arrogance, and their selfishness has sentenced us all to this misery. And now, some of those same people wish to be the leaders of the fight to save the republic, when in fact, they were the permission slip that let Donald Trump walk through the unlocked gates, because they lied about Biden's capacities, they lied about the state of the border, they lied about the economy, and then when it was all over and the price of the lies came due, the people who were responsible for imposing Trump on us told us it was our fault for not getting in line enough behind a man who couldn't function in the highest office, who couldn't communicate, who couldn't talk, and who won't go away. And so now we sit here watching images of children handcuffed, being arrested in schools by sheriffs. This entire menagerie that Trump has assembled is unfit. And Democrats have to ask the American people for something. And they're not in a position to ask it. They're not in a position to ask it because they've broken trust by refusing to fight, by lying about what was at stake, and covering up the manifest unfitness of a presidential candidate named Joe Biden. what Democrats have to ask for is power. They have to go to the American people and say, give us the power to make this madness stop. Yesterday, when I was interviewing Ryan Lizza, he asked me a question. He said, what would you advise Democrats to say about the trap Republicans are laying over the impeachment of Trump? That Republicans will say to every Democrat running, well, what's your position on impeaching Trump? And Republicans will say that over the next 2 years, all we'll get is more of the same, more stunts, more going nowhere impeachments. And Ryan Lizza said, what's the answer to that? Here's the answer. What Democrats should say is if you elect 67 Democratic senators, Trump will be gone. We will convict him. But short of that, they should directly ask for the power to remove Kristi Noem from power, to remove Pam Bondi from power, to remove, if necessary, assuming he's still there, Pete Hegseth from power. Does the fact that Kristi Noem, under 24/7 Secret Service protection's purse was stolen with $3,000 cash in it and all of her identity cards, including her passes to the Homeland Security building, does any of that set off alarm bells for anybody? Why did Kristi Noem have $3,000 in cash? And when will the national press report on the extent of her relationship with the fascist Corey Lewandowski? A real 100% triple grade A whack job of the highest conceivable rank in the MAGA firmament of weirdness and depravity. He is a primo creature in the cantina. He is one of the greatest Wookiees, an evil one, in the Star Wars bar scene that Trump has assembled. $3,000 of cash. Pete Hegseth will be delivering a graduation address at one of the service academies next month. Are you kidding? And then you should know this. All of the economic chaos that's coming for the American people, all of it unnecessary, all of it a choice, all of it a result of the decisions, the incoherence, the stupidity, and abject idiocy of Donald Trump. Every American should know that behind closed doors, the Treasury Secretary, the Trump collaborator, the Trump stooge, Scott Bessent, he surrendered to the Chinese. Donald Trump started a trade war with China. His Secretary of the Treasury, behind closed door, with America's Wall Street bankers, acknowledged it's lost, acknowledged that America will have to retreat, acknowledged that Trump's war has failed, and that Trump is ready to kowtow to Xi Jinping. There has never been an American president weaker. There has never been a president who is a greater fool. There has never been a more malevolent president. There has never been a president like Donald Trump, surrounded by a posse of venomous clowns. And the American people who picked this, chose this, deceived by lies and bullshit, disoriented by the corruption of the politicians of both parties, the American people who picked this will suffer more than they can imagine. And every American who believes that the government does not have the right to declare you a murderer, a terrorist, because they don't like what you said or thought about a politician, every person who understands that you don't snatch people off the streets and send them to gulags in foreign countries had best understand this. In the 250th anniversary year of the United States of America, everything is on the line. And the warning that Americans had was 250 years in the making. Our founders told us what would happen, what the price of our indifference would be if we surrendered to the whims of a man, our franchise, our freedoms, our liberty. They told us that a tyrant would rise, and a tyrant has risen, and evil has risen and is rising higher and higher. And it is enamored of its nastiness, of its shame, of its lowness. And all of Trump's screaming children and fanatics and fascists who glare at us with menace in their eyes and snarled teeth are feeling their power. But know this, the pushback is being felt. Elon Musk's company is collapsing. It's going bankrupt, and it will not survive this. According to news reports, Elon Musk has said, well, he got in over his head. There is no escape for Elon Musk, for Tesla, for SpaceX, for these companies. The American people, in their righteous anger and might, will run them into the ground and bankrupt them over the next few years. Elon will not go to Mars. Elon will not go to space. Elon Musk will not be a defense contractor. What he will be is a fascist with a fortune, probably driving a Chinese electric car. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.